Diblius, Hans Konzelmann were some of the scholars at that time. The New Hermeneutic, F.F. Bruce writes, the New Hermeneutic represents a modern endeavor to make the message of the New Testament intelligible and relevant to contemporary man. It is closely related to Rudolf Bultmann's constant affirmation, says F. Bruce, that this message is concerned with human existence and that it is with human existence that contemporary man is essentially concerned. End of quote. Gospel criticism. By the 20th century, synoptic gospels were at the heart of the discussion. B. E. Street, who propounded a four-source hypothesis of the gospels in 1924, and by Wilhelm Bussmann, whose book 1929 distinguished two sources of key material, etc. We can go on in depth there. The New Quest for the Historical Jesus, J.M. Robertson, A New Quest for the Historical Jesus, 1959, is plainly meant to echo a title of Albert Schweitzer's great work. Other scholars, Ernest Kaisman gave threw the gauntlet down against Rudolf Bultmann about the importance of this quest. And that's just a brief synopsis of some of the history of New Testament scholarship on New Testament studies. From the Apostolic Fathers to, you had two schools. You had the Origin kind of allegory school, that we understand the New Testament from allegory. We had the Antioch school that said, no, we understand from the historical grammatical method. We had the development of the majestic St. Augustine and expound the Bible, and he had a massive influence. I'm just concluding in my own words. Then we had the Middle Ages with the great commentaries of Aquinas and others who compiled some of the early church fathers together. We had then in the great early Reformation, we have Wycliffe and Tyndale developing textual criticism, developing translation, and then we had the great exegesis of Calvin and Luther and some of the other great, massive reformers there. We had, I think F.F. Bruce has left out a lot of the Puritan scholars that could have been mentioned, like John Owen, who were massive exegetes of the New Testament. One of the scholars that needs to be mentioned is Bengel, with his Greek scholarship around about 1700. Massive scholar who brought a lot of New Testament criticism and developed it. We got to think of the 19th century who was missed out. Scrivener, Tischendorf, some of these great scholars that F.F. Bruce never mentioned, and Dean Bergen as well. F.F. Bruce never mentioned scholars that should have been mentioned in what he said. He also missed out Stuart of America. He missed him out, and he was absolutely massive. And he missed a German scholar, Adolf Schlatter, Adolf Harnack, and people like that who he should have mentioned in his history of New Testament studies. So what do we learn from all this? Well, basically what we learn is your presupposition